Welcome back to News Insights. I am your host, Victory Amma, and I have fellow discussants here with me, Engineer Kingsley and Pastor Kingsley. Thank you so much for being here in the studio with us.
Thank you.
Today we'll be talking about educational crisis. So Universal Basic Education Commission, they recently highlighted the educational crisis we have in Nigeria. And we've realized that, according to what they said, 34 states have not had access to 263 matching grants, 63 billion matching grants in Nigeria from 2020 to 2024, which means that so many citizens are outside school, like they have not gone to school, they don't have basic education. So what is the implication of this in our country, Nigeria? Pastor Kingsley.
It's educational matter. The thing has tail and has leg. And I think it's on purpose we are doing most of the things we do. And because even the administrators don't assess this education by universal basic education, so they don't take it very seriously.
That's true.
Why will a state have money with UBE, that's Universal Basic Education, an agency of government that disposes to them and won't pursue it? And meanwhile, let me speak for my state. The primary
which state is that?
Edo State.
Okay.
Because our past governor, I'm not against him, I'm just saying the obvious, the facts on ground. The primary school that I went to, Enekwa Primary School, the teachers there are not up to 2 or 3.
Wow.
Yes. The other time.
And they teach all the subjects.
Currently.
They teach all the subjects.
Yes, they have all the class from primary 1 to primary 6. It's the local or the community that now gather together are employed teachers.
This is far-reaching.
That's sad.
Quote me. The same thing even with the secondary school. Apart from the youth corpers that come there and the one mobilized by the Old Boys Association, led by one Richard Bagudu that is supporting, to make sure that we have more teachers. We just have maybe the principal, the vice principal, and one teacher. And meanwhile, these same people have grants.
Somewhere,
grant, or not alone. They have grants somewhere. Whatever it will take you to assess it, you will do it. If you really think of the students.
You said something about it being intentional.
Yes. So the intentionality is the fact that most of the private schools, because even in our localities, most of the private schools, that's where children go to. And they look at it as it's not an entrepreneurship business, which is not supposed to be. So you get to find out that the one for government is being trampled upon, then the one for business is being exalted in a way, and all that, which is supposed to be a basic education. So why will a governor or an agency that is involved, because we always call the governor, but there's a ministry that is involved. Because even at the state, they have universal basic education at the state, which have the power or the authority to liaise with those in the federal government, right, and get these grants to develop, employ. They always say, we cannot employ because the revenue of the state is too little. Now, there's money for you to be able to get this money, build classrooms, do this one, do that one, and they won't do that.
Engineer Kingsley, Pastor Kingsley has talked about his state. So we would like to hear about your own state. Why do you think these people have intentionally not want to bring out this money for this education? Do they want to use the money for something else?
Except you just say they want to hear about my own state. My own state has only not assessed for the later part of last year and this year. But that said, I want to look at the data in more details. What I'm saying is this. We have a lot of out-of-school children, particularly from what was released by Business Day sometime early this year, from Business Day Cable Index. I think Kebbi, Sokoto, Yobe, Zamfara, and the rest were leading in the number of out-of-school children. That of Kebbi was almost up to 67%. It was that bad. Okay, now, I want to ask a question. Number one, the governors, I don't know, whatever that prevented them, whatever the condition to assess the loan, they have been assessing it before they should assess it.
Yes.
You have no basis not to access those grants, rather not loan, grants. You have no business not to access those grants because you can't say you don't have need of money. Even these people that are trailing so much are Abia, Imo, and Ogun. Granted, these are not the areas where we have the worst of the basic education.
Yes, that's
but
true.
they could be improved because their classrooms were not so good. They are not the best. They're only good because they are comparing themselves with the north. Okay? But when they compare themselves with what is obtainable in some other countries,
It's still not good.
globally, you find out that their classrooms are not even a place to study. You understand?
Yes.
So they still have the need for those grants. That's that. But my interest on the detail is this. It means that dropout numbers of students or pupils or children out of school is not only an issue of these grants. Why am I saying so? There are more indices, either corruption, wrong policies, or wrong strategies from government that is aiding these out of school children high rates we have in the north. Because those performing best in the accessing of this grant are those from the northwest. Even Katsina and Kaduna has access
so why is it
to the,
still low?
Yes,
Why?
that's why I say we need to probe into the data more. All the northwestern states have assessed their for the last year. For this year, Kaduna and Katsina has assessed their own. Yet the data released earlier this year
Doesn't show
show that the out of school children dropout rate is still higher even in those areas. So it means that there is something wrong with educational system of those areas. Do you understand? The policy,
Either the money is not yeah.
policy, corruption too. One is to assess this thing, another one is to utilize
use it
it
for-
properly.
Because I don't think they're making it interesting
That's
for these
right.
people to
So
watch
how
them.
come those who have assessed these things,
They still are
the result is not
yes, exactly.
it's not
They are
in tandem with the
So it's
assessment.
not enough just to give the grant.
It's not enough. That
You
is
have
where
to
I'm
also
going.
monitor the usage of the grant
use and the result of it.
That's
to make sure that universal basic education is
But
achieved.
it's also very possible that they will provide all these things and children will
That's what I'm
still
saying.
decide,
That is why
or
it
parents
says
will still
strategy,
decide.
sensitization,
Okay, yeah, that's where
orientation, culture,
sensitization comes
letting
in.
children know that you need to be in school, not making them available for any other thing other than be in school
at that particular time
that they should be in
I
school.
also think there should be punitive measures for parents that have refused to send
Yeah,
their
there
children
should
to
be,
school.
like it is in foreign countries.
Yes,
In America, your child has to be school. In Canada, your child has to be school. Or if you are going to have a homeschool program,
you let the authority
let the authority know and they will monitor it. The school, the Ministry of Education in quotes, or
Yes.
Department of Education will monitor it.
Welfare department.
Welfare to ensure the child.
that
is-
you can't just take your child and not make the child not to be at
No, you cannot. You
at-
can't
at
just
school.
put the child out of school.
Now, if we even look at our FCT here, because I always like to talk about the example of places that I see.
Yeah.
There's a school close to where I stay, a public school.
Yeah.
It's an ISO. In Abuja, the place is not properly knitted up. The classrooms are not good enough. They don't have basic educational facilities.
And Abuja hasn't assessed even their own for this year.
For this year.
There was this send forth, is this send forth to end of year that we attended
in Kabusa.
Kabusa.
Yes.
Excellent children, but you need to see the school environment. There was-
An excellent administrator.
Yes, I swear, excellent administrator. The lady the administrator, excellent. But the school, you can see the environment
Very poor.
Very poor. In Kabusa here, right in
Kabusa,
FCT.
and if you see the population,
Right in FCT. I said, what? Is it Kabusa Secondary School or something?
Kabusa
Can't
Senior
remember the
and Junior Secondary School.
Yes. I can't remember the actual name, but you know.
See, that's what it's called. It's
Yeah.
Kabusa Junior and Senior and Senior, Junior and Senior Secondary School.
Very intelligent children. But
Extremely intelligent.
and now you have a grant that you have not assessed.
assist.
Yes, I think because they are not prioritizing this education, and that's one thing we really need to look into. Because why wouldn't they prioritize? Like Pastor Kingsley said, he said something about them putting business in the forefront. Meanwhile, this basic education will help any other person through business school or any other entrepreneurship. It will help them. So why are we not now prioritizing this education?
I think the business he meant was that people were prioritizing private schools rather than government
private
schools.
rather than government
private
schools.
are
Okay, I
business.
misunderstood
I've
that.
never been against private school, but I think it should complement public school.
That's
Now, if you say the private schools are coming in and they are good, public school should now rise up to be as good as them.
Yes.
Now you have a competitor. You have somebody to set a kind of
Put you in shape.
And it's also not fair that not so many people can afford this.
That's
private
right.
school.
That's right. That's
Can
the more
the
reason you
average
should make
Nigerian
public school.
afford
Yes,
private
more public school. Make public school to be of high standard, so that it's not like public school which is not good is for the poor children. Poor children can be that intelligent too.
You remember one boy that came and spoke oratory?
Oh, the boy was
My
excellent.
God, the boy got
But
a
you need
lot
to
of
see the
gifts.
tattered
The clothes he was wearing.
right there. But I was happy the people that attended the occasion right there paid for
This
his
one, that
uniform
one.
till he's done with the secondary
Yes.
school. And
That
all
was a very good.
He spoke brilliantly.
Yeah.
And these are most of us went to public schools.
Of course, almost all of us.
And we can't compete with anybody all
There
around
were
the
no
world.
private. There were no private schools.
No, they were
in our
not.
days, actually.
They were not.
There were no private
And
schools.
we can
then.
compete with anybody.
Yes.
Do you understand? Can stand with anybody anywhere around the
There were
world.
no private schools.
And it also teaches you to mingle with so many people of different classes.
Background, yes.
Exactly.
Background,
You
yes.
know, so they should focus on these things. Go to the schools and see that the schools are doing well. Not just only academic, because a good environment will enhance children doing better than what they are doing right now.
Yes.
They make sure that there are libraries. They make sure that they have good
And
pipe
other
on water.
trades and other activities, talent development
Yeah.
should be attached to this.
Sports.
You can't have grant. I don't see a reason behind having grant and not assessing it. Grant, not loan. I mean, you could use it to build a talent development center for the children. You could have singers, you could have, a lot of things, soccer players and all that. A lot of aspects that you can use deploy the money to. So I don't know, the governors are maybe they have too much
they
money
should
too.
put it together with
The governors are
basic
confused, they
education.
have too much money. So I don't know.
They should just share it.
No. They are looking for allocation from the federal
So
government.
that was no condition. Maybe they don't retire. You don't need to retire.
You don't need to retire
You
that
don't
one.
retire allocation.
You just collect the allocation, you move it to
State.
security vote.
So does it mean that this grant
And if
is just
EFCC tells you, it will tell you that he doesn't have
you don't have right to check security vote.
if this grant, it means that it's just one place sitting down there.
Yes.
For nothing.
Yes, and you refuse to take it.
Yes.
Then that means it's really bad.
No, of course,
It's
it's
very
bad.
terrible.
It should.
Is that I've decided that this is not important. It's not worth my time.
No, they say it's not, because they have to retire that one
They have
before
to
they collect
retire
another.
it.
Federal allocation, you don't retire it. It's your right.
It's your right.
So you just get it
Straight, you
But
use
if
it.
it's a grant that is coming from a universal basic education,
There was one governor one time during Obasanjo era. The governor was eventually impeached from the South. He was shouting for Obasanjo, how dare you tell me what I use my money for?
My money.
It's my
yes,
money.
my money. Because it's a federating state. So an allocation comes to the state
Yeah.
based on what
I think it
comes
was
to
even the
federal
first
government.
governor that was ever impeached also.
Thank you
You think
very
you get-
much
No,
for
Oh, you don't want to
this.
mention this?
Thank you very much for coming to the studio to share
Thank you.
all
Thank you
these
very
things with
much.
us. It was really interesting having you both
Thank
here.
you.
Thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
This is News Insight. Thank you for tuning in.